There are many different hosting companies who offer hosting, domain, and email services, and then each of these companies also have multiple packages. This can make it quite hard to make a choice. I personally have become a fan of Hostinger over the last few years because they offer everything your website needs for a very nice price. Their hosting is faster than what you get from the competition in this price range, and the interface is just really easy to use, which is great for a not super technical person like me. And before we get started, I do want to say that this is not a paid review. I am genuinely excited about Hostinger. Actually, I'm so excited about Hostinger that from now on, I'm gonna try to put all of my clients on Hostinger. And as you can see, more than 2 million people have chosen Hostinger. So this is not a small company anymore. This is now a solid player in the market, and that's one of the reasons why I trust them. So is Hostinger the best in every single area? No, of course not. There is no perfect hosting company. It just really depends what you want. But for me as a no-code developer and a designer with a small agency, it needs to be easy to use, but there also needs to be a good balance between price and quality. I will give you more arguments soon why I think Hostinger is great, but I can tell you one thing: installing WordPress from a platform like this is a lot better than buying it from WordPress.com, because buying hosting via WordPress itself is super expensive compared to Hostinger, and they limit your options. With Hostinger, you can also install WordPress, actually the full version, and you can install any plugin that you want. This video is going to contain 5 parts. First, we're going to take a deeper dive on why Hostinger might be a good option for your own websites and your client websites. Here we will also cover what package will fit your company and how the payments work. Then in the second part, I will show you around the interface, and that will give you some confidence that you can do this as well. And here we will also be installing WordPress on a domain. Then I will show you how you can work with free subdomains, so you can host some websites for free. Then I will show you Hostinger's client management features. And then lastly, we will be transferring a website from one domain to another, whether it's a subdomain or a main domain. So let's get started with part 1. Why Hostinger might be a good option for you to host your own website and your client websites. They are available in many countries around the world. You see this flag up here in the corner, and it shows you a list of all kinds of countries. And this is not just a translation. Even the payment methods are adjusted to the country. So if you click to another country, for example, first of all, it will show you a different currency, but also on the checkout, you will see that they have adjusted the payment methods which are popular in that country. In some places, they even let you pay with crypto. And this is very important if you have a lot of international clients which live all around the world. With Hostinger's international focus, your clients can pay from anywhere. The second thing is that they have data centers all around the world. This is not the case for all hosting companies. And this makes it possible for them to offer a service called CDN, which basically means if you are here, then the website will load from this server. If you are here, then the website will load from there, basically making your website faster. They also offer domain services and domain emails. This is not the case for all hosting companies, so I do want to point it out. And I also want to say that their extensions are not as expensive as some other competitors. So if you want something different than .com, they have quite a few options, actually a lot more than just this list you can see over here. For example, a domain name I had which ended in .io. It is available on Hostinger, but not on all hosting companies. By the way, all plans come with a domain email, which looks a lot better than having your Gmail. I will show that in a minute, but it's all part of the package. You can let your clients pay for their own hosting while you still manage their account via your account. This is quite a cool feature because some clients just want to own their own account, want to pay for the hosting themselves. That's fine. With Hostinger, you have both options. So you can let your clients pay for the hosting themselves, and then you can manage it from your account, or you can just add them to your account if you're working with maintenance packages and you are billing your clients for hosting. That's also possible, all within the same platform, the same account. It's great. You get a lot of free subdomains included in each package. Even the smallest package already has 100 subdomains, which is more than enough. I always use subdomains to host portfolio projects, which are not real websites. They don't need their own domain because then I need to pay for it. So I just put it on a subdomain, for example, a photography website. .mywebsitename.com. I can still send potential clients to that link and show them what I can do, but I don't pay anything extra for it because the domain is free, because it's a subdomain, and the website itself is also free because I have a package where I can host more websites. So it's just a great free way to host more websites, and I sometimes use it to develop websites when the client doesn't have a domain name yet or they are a bit slow. You can just say like, okay, I will start developing on my own subdomain, and then later you can transfer it to the main domain. So you transfer the website. I'll show you how to do that later in this series. But in that way, you can also develop a website for free without you having to buy a domain, which of course is really convenient. They do offer free website migration. Most companies do this, not all, but of course they want you to become a client of Hostingers. So if your website is still hosted somewhere else, they will help you, which is nice. And the last thing is that they do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you're not happy with it, you can just ask your money back. So there's basically no risk. I know this all sounds very salesy what I'm trying to say, but I'm, again, genuinely excited. I think this is a good platform. So let's explore what package will fit your company. Hey, Reno here from the future. While I was editing this video, they have changed the pricing packages. So this part of the video, you will see a different camera because I am somewhere else right now. Okay, let's explore the pricing packages on the website. And they do have a lot of pages and it can be a little bit confusing. So to make it easy for you, I have my own page on hostinger.com where I promote the packages that I think are best for my audience, basically. I will also put that link in the video description and in the comments so that you can easily click on it. And then when you scroll down, you see the following 3 packages. With Hostinger, it's basically bigger is better and faster. But to make this even more easy, here's what I would do. If you are on an absolute budget, you need the cheapest option possible, but you still want a package where you can host multiple websites, then of course go for the premium package. But for $1 per month more, you get the business package, which is a lot faster than the premium package. So if you have an agency, but you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money yet, this is a little bit too much for you, then please add that extra $1 per month to your package and get the business plan, because you and your clients will feel that speed difference. And if you already have multiple clients, your business is already making some money, maybe you already sell monthly packages to your clients, then please do yourself a favor and go to Cloud Startup. And if you really want the best of the absolute best, then you can go to the cloud hosting page and get an even bigger cloud package, for example, one of these. But personally, I have the Cloud Startup plan, which is this one, which is more than fast enough for normal websites. But I do have to say, I don't run absolute massive websites. When a client comes to me and they say, we have a web shop with 5,000 products, I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's not for me. I like to keep things small, but I do want nice speed. So that's why I am on Startup. But if this is a little bit too much for you, then please do yourself a favor and go for the business plan, because it's just $1 more. Let's look at some other differences. Here, for example, it says that the first package doesn't have WooCommerce, this has basic WooCommerce, and this has standard WooCommerce. This does not mean that you cannot run a web shop on this package. They put this red cross right here, but they just don't recommend it, because having a WooCommerce web shop requires quite a bit of resources of your website. So then it's better to have a package that's a little bit more performance. Another feature which I find very useful for working with clients is WordPress staging tool, which you don't get on the first package, which allows you to make changes on the live website while keeping the live website live, but you're just making changes on a copy website, and then you can push all those changes to the live website without interrupting the actual live website. I hope that makes sense, but that's a really nice feature, because then you don't have to put the website in under construction. You could just work on it and then push the new changes forward. Really, really great tool, easy to use as well. These two packages also have better protection, so better security, which is also something I highly recommend when you're working with clients. And another thing I want to point out is that with the cloud package, you have priority support. So if time is more important to you than a few dollars, then the cloud package is definitely what you want to go for because you simply get a faster response. Another important difference, which I forgot to say, is that you will get daily backups with these two plans and only weekly backups with the first plan. But daily backups are not saved forever. As you can see, they are stored for 7 days, and then the weekly backups are saved for 7 weeks. So if you don't think that that's enough, then you can always install a plugin on WordPress that does backups and saves it to your Dropbox or your Drive. You can do that, but this is what you get from Hostinger. All the packages come with the free 100% email addresses, but the maximum is 1 GB. This is even the case on the biggest package. But if you go to the business email page, then you will see that when you or your client has an email box that exceeds the 1 GB, you can upgrade that one email address for this price. And then at the bottom, they do actually hide quite a few features which are quite important. You have to click on see more features, because one of the things that I think is important to know is the visits monthly limit. When you have a few clients which have websites that have quite a bit of traffic, maybe 25,000 is not enough and you will need 100,000 or 200,000. That's definitely an important thing you should know. Here you can also see the subdomains. Well, I think 100 is enough. You don't really need 300 subdomains, so that's not a huge difference. But the visits monthly is definitely important. And lastly, before we close off, I do want to say that there was a package in the past which only had one website license, but that's the one that they changed. I asked Hostinger, like, why did you delete that? Some people just want one website, but they said the price difference wasn't that much. But many of these people wanted all the features from Premium, so they were just like, let's make it even simpler. The first package you can buy, the cheapest package, already starts from 100 websites. So even if you want one website, you have to buy the Premium package at Hostinger. And I know it feels like you're paying for something that you don't use, but compare this to other hosting companies and all of the features that you get for this price, and then there's almost no discussion. It's still great value for the price. All right, let's jump back to the past. Okay, so you see these prices right here. You'll also see renewal prices right here. And we have prices for domains. So let's talk about how payments work. Hosting and domain are both yearly payments, even though on the website they display the prices in months here. You do pay per year. You can choose 1, 2, 3 or 4 years. The more years you buy, the bigger discount you get. So that's how it works for hosting, but domain prices are always per year. But with these packages, you do get one free domain for the first year, which is nice. So let's go and buy one package together. So you see how it works and the different prices as well. I'm gonna go for the business plan today. The setup between these three is very similar, but let's just click on add to the cart and see what happens. All right, so now we get to the pricing page, and here you can choose how many years you want to buy it. Oh, I was wrong. It's not 3 years you can buy, it's just 1, 2 or 4. As you can see, the price gets cheaper the more years you buy. Also, the renewal price changes. So this is how it works with almost all hosting companies. You see these big discounts on the website, like 80, 90, 70%. But that's only for the first period. The actual price of the hosting is the renewal price. So they just try to lure you in with that discount so it looks cheaper per month, but this is actually the monthly price. But again, it's still a lot cheaper than many other platforms, including other hosting companies, WordPress.com, Squarespace, Wix. It's still a lot cheaper, and you get a lot more websites because most of those other platforms, they charge you just per website. So again, you're getting a great deal here, and I will even make it a little bit better with a discount. But okay, let's see how this works. You see what you get over here, and then you pick one of the prices. So let's say that you want to buy it for 12 months. months? Well, then you scroll down and then you can see the total price for today, which is only $54 as you can see for 1 year of hosting for 100 websites. This is pretty great. Of course, if you buy it for 4 years, then you have to pay more today, but it's a price for 4 years. And I do want to say, if you're not sure yet about Hostinger and you buy it for this price and you want to then upgrade to the bigger package or another package, I am not sure if you can still get it for that big discount. So what I did is that I just bought this package. It's still not an astronomical amount, but at least I get the biggest discount, but this is up to you. Okay, so if you scroll down, you have to create an account. You can also use Google or Facebook if you want to. Make sure, of course, to save this because you will need that later. That's the login for your Hostinger account, which will give you access to all of your websites. Here you can see the payment method. As you can see, even cryptocurrency. So that is great. And like I said, this window will be different depending on the country you clicked on while you were on the home page. Okay, and before you fill all of this in, I do have a coupon code for you for 10% off. If you use this coupon code, it will be even cheaper today. Oh, and I forgot to say that by using this coupon code, you are also supporting me because I get a commission for the sale. So it's basically a win for both of us. And also make sure that if you have a VAT number, that you also put it in here, because then the taxes and fee will disappear. All right, so I'm gonna fill in my info and then we're gonna make the payment. All right, I'm gonna try to pay with PayPal. Let's do it. Oh, I forgot to create an account. Okay, I have paid and I am now inside of the platform and I want to go through the setup and the dashboard with you in part 2. In this part of the series, I want to walk you through the dashboard and we're going to install WordPress together and we're going to also connect it to our domain. Alright, so after I bought, I was presented with this setup. So do you need to walk through this? Well, no. But let's say that you have a website with another hosting company and you do want to migrate to Hostinger, then you can choose this option and they will try to help you. But for now, if you click one of these options, they will ask you a lot of questions which you don't really need to. You can just click on skip over here and then you are presented with 2 options. Install WordPress with AI or install Hostinger website builder. As most of you know, I use WordPress. What they mean with this AI, it will just install a plugin that will help you to write posts and pages. I've tested it. It's pretty cool. It's basically ChatGPT built into WordPress, but this is just basically a normal WordPress install. It doesn't really matter. You can also create an empty website and then install WordPress later. You know what? Let's just do that because I don't like these setups. Okay, so this feature is quite cool. They will help you to pick a domain name. They've actually made this look like you're inside of a website. So here you need to choose your domain name. Since you have a free domain name anyways, it doesn't really matter. You can change it afterwards. But if you already know your domain name, then you can put it in here. I'm just gonna put Reno website tests because this is just a test project for me. And let's see, I can do the .com free for the first year. Let's click on that and then click on next. Now you need to enter some details for your domain. So click on the next step, make sure to fill out this info, because if you don't do that, then it can lead to domain suspension, which is not what you want. You can hide this stuff later because Hostinger also comes with domain protection, which is actually free, also not with other hosting companies, which is great so you can protect your own personal data. Okay, it is done now, and now it will ask you what your website target audience is. This is so that they can pick a default server for you. Like I said, they do have the servers where they can switch it easily, but if they know that most of your audience is in one region anyways, then they can optimize it better. So for me, I'm the closest to United Kingdom because I'm from the Netherlands, or France is also okay. As you can see, some of them run on renewable energy, which is cool. And now it's gonna set up everything for me. If your setup looks different, because that can be the case, you can also just skip everything and then connect your domain later. You don't always have to go through the steps. You can do everything from the dashboard. Okay, we are finally in the dashboard right now. Okay, so let's first go over the basics. I'm gonna switch to my other account, which makes it easier to show things. And after that, I will come back here to make sure we set up everything we want. But let's start on the home page. On the homepage, you see a summary of things that are going on. You see email addresses that you have created, domains that you have connected, and the hosting package that you have. You can also go to those different options over here. So for example, if you click on hosting, then you will see your cloud startup and you can edit things over here. The same thing with emails. All of the emails that you have created, you can see them over here and then you can manage them and change its settings. So those are the main buttons over here. You also have a VPS button over here, which I think they should delete because I didn't buy a VPS. Whatever. You also have your billing information. I think this is self-explanatory, but the main part you're going to use is the website page, where you can see a combination of your own websites and your client websites. If you want to log into one of these websites, then you can click on the admin panel, which will then bring you directly to WordPress, which is great. But if you want to set things up, for example, emails or subdomain, then you have to click on manage. And then you have all the options for this specific website here on the left. You can see a few things here. You can see if your domain is connected, what hosting it's part of, if backups are enabled, and the file manager, really important if you have a WordPress issue. You can just go into all of the WordPress folders and then find the issue you're looking for. But this, of course, requires some technical knowledge. Most beginners will not be comfortable using this. But the thing is, you can access everything from here. Okay, let's go back to my other account because we need to set up some things. And I think this is the moment where I need to explain how domains and hosting connect. You can have a website without a domain. It sounds a bit weird, but a website is just like a weird address, which is not very nice to use because it has this weird code name. So that's why you buy a domain. A domain is basically just pointing to where the website files are located, but this is the actual address of your website, and the domain just points to that to make it easily accessible for people. So that's why you need to connect your domain to your website. So I hope that that makes sense. So it can happen that inside of your dashboard, you will see something like, hey, your domain is not connected to Hostinger, even though you think like, hey, I just bought my domain at Hostinger, right? What's going on? So you can click on connect over here, or you can just go to your domains and then go to manage over here. And then you can see what's wrong over here. You can see that I still need to verify my email. I got an email from them, so let's verify that. All right, that looks good. Let's now refresh it. This will take a few minutes to update, but here you can see what I mean. These are the settings that you can use to point a domain to another website. So technically it is possible to buy your domains at one company and buy hosting at another company and then just say to each domain, this domain leads to that website and this domain leads to that website. And those settings are called DNS settings. DNS, domain name servers. These are the name servers that Hostinger uses because we bought the domain at Hostinger and the hosting as well. So then just the domain just links to the name servers of Hostinger and then everything should work. So let's go back to my website and let's see if it now works a little bit better. Yes, now the website is running smoothly. There are no problems anymore. So we could log in now, but I think we skipped the WordPress installer, didn't we? So we need to install WordPress if we want to work with WordPress. And we can do that by using the auto installer over here, or you can go over here to website and then WordPress. But let's click on the auto installer. And here you can see the WordPress option. Now we're going to install WordPress on the main domain so that we can start editing our website. Okay, give it a title, give it a username, and this password over here is going to be the password for your website login. So not Hostinger login, don't use the same password as you've used for your Hostinger account. Make a new one and make sure to write this down. Okay, you can leave all the recommended settings and click on install. And now it will install WordPress on our website. Okay, whoa, it's already done. That took like 5 seconds. That was super fast. So now we have the admin panel button, which we can access from here, but we can also easily find it from here. Admin panel, it's the same button. It will log you into WordPress. Okay, great. Now we're logged into WordPress. It will even ask you more questions, but this is just a plugin that Hostinger installs. They automatically install the Hostinger plugin and also the Hostinger AI assistant, which will help you to write blog posts. As you can see, it's kind of like ChatGPT inside of WordPress. It's kind of cool that they did this. I'm not sure if I'm really gonna use it a lot, but it's cool that they give that as a free option. And this series is not about WordPress itself. I have many tutorials on WordPress. So now let's just go back to Hostinger, because I do want to cover a few more features from the dashboard. First of all, when you have a website, you always need to make sure that it is safe. And you can do that by going to WordPress overview and then checking if force HTTPS is on. That will make your website secure. Very important. It can take a little while for the SSL to be actually installed. You don't have to install another plugin. Hostinger will do it for you. It's just an extra layer of protection that you need to make sure is on active. Hostinger works with Lightspeed. You can install this. It will install a plugin on your WordPress website, and Lightspeed works great with the Hostinger service. It also says over here that daily backups are active, and the actual backups can be found over here in the left panel. If you go to backups, then you will see the backup. So this is a new account, so let's switch to my other account. And here you can see that I can go back to a different date, which is great when you make a huge mistake on your website and you're like, what do I need to do? You just switch back 2 days and then most of the times it's fine. Okay, let's now talk about emails, because you can create an email address if you want. So if you go to emails and then email accounts, it will tell you to pay, but you don't need to pay. You can just set up a free email service. So this is the 1 GB per email box that you get for free. Just click on setup over here. Of course, they will try to sell you more, but you don't really need to do that. First, you need to choose a domain, even though I only have 1 domain. Maybe they can just skip this if you have 1 domain, but if you have multiple domains, then you need to choose that here, obviously, because an email is connected to a domain. If you then click on confirm, they will ask you again to pay, but you don't really need to because this one is free and it's fine. Just select it and then you can create your email address. For example, info@whatever your website is. And now you need to make a new password, and this is the password for that specific email. So if you have multiple people in your company, of course, then you can say Reno or Peter or whatever, and everyone has their own password. That's really important. Save those as well somewhere. So let's create one. Click on create. And now it will help you. It will give you some tips to connect it to your email tool that you use. So maybe you use Gmail, you want to connect it there, or you use Apple Mail. I think many of you use Apple Mail. So if you want to add the email address inside of your mail application, then you should add a new email. Again, this works a little bit different with every tool, but it's also pretty similar. You have to fill in some details. So the email address and the password that we just created, you fill that in over here. So let's try it. I'm gonna put in my email and my password. Oh, and now it will say, I don't have enough information. We need more. So then what you need to do is you need to go over here, and here it says incoming mail server. You copy it from here, and over here you type in SMTP. Use IMAP if you can instead of POP, because that syncs better between devices. For your username, you can just also put in the email address. And now if you click on sign in and you select the email, then this email address will now be linked inside of your mail application, and it actually works. Okay, I just sent myself an email as a test, and as you can see, it works. So great. The email tool works, so you can create as many email addresses as you want. Well, 100 is the max within 1 GB, and otherwise you have to pay, which is fine. Okay, and there's one last thing I want to show in the dashboard, which is a little bit hidden, and that is a staging environment. So what is that? Okay, so when a website is live, you've developed the whole thing, the website is live, but your client wants some changes, or you want to make some changes. It's often a little risky to go inside of the live website and start making changes, because sometimes things break and then you have to fix it, and maybe it will take you 1 or 2 or 3 hours. And then the visitors on the website will see something that looks wrong, your client is not happy. Horrible. Okay, so they have a solution for this called staging. So if you go to your website and then click on manage, then click on WordPress, and then over here you have staging. With this feature, you can kind of like create a little separate version on the side. So here you have the live website, then here you have staging. You make changes on the staging, and only when you're really happy with it, everything works, then you push the staging to the live website and it replaces it. This is a lot more easy than working with subdomains and transferring it. But I use subdomains only when my client is not ready yet with the domain, or they have another hosting provider anyways. I mean, that can also happen. Not every client wants to get to Hostinger, even though I'm trying. So it really depends on the situation. But if the website is already live and it runs on Hostinger, then I would highly recommend to work with the staging feature instead of trying to migrate websites, because that's a lot more work. Okay, so as you can see, the dashboard is quite easy to use, especially compared to other hosting companies. Many hosting companies are very technical and Hostinger makes it really easy. For now, you can get started with your own website and your own domain. But hey, maybe you want to learn more how to do that subdomain thing that you can use for your portfolio project or for development. That's what we will do in the next part of this video. So let's talk about subdomains, how to set it up and how to use it. First, I want to give you an example on how I use it, and then we're going to set up a subdomain together so you can do that as well for your own business. Okay, I have this domain which I run multiple websites on. In order to see all the settings for this domain, I'm going to go to websites. Here we can see that same domain, and then we're going to click on manage. Then on the left over here, you can see subdomains. And here you can see a list of all the subdomains I have. I actually have a lot of subdomains over here, and I mainly use this to test things. So let's take a look on what it actually is. If we just go to testingwithpixels.com, then you can see that this is just an empty WordPress install. There's not much going on. There's one blog post, but this is just a default WordPress install. But if we then put this in front of it, so Elementor free resume, then you will see that there's a website, a different website. Well, it doesn't look that good because I was testing something, but this is a completely different WordPress install. This one looks a little bit better because this is a website that I have created for my Elementor Pro course. As you can see, this looks a lot better. This is a full WordPress install, which is not part of the main domain, and this is completely free to do. So let me show you how it actually looks on the inside. So if I go back to the dashboard of this main domain, and then I go to File Manager, then you will see all of these folders right here. And these folders are all subdomains with full WordPress installs inside of them. And then from here on, you can see WordPress files, which are all part of the main domain. So what a subdomain basically is just a folder inside of all of your files, and then you can use that as a domain. It's not a real domain that you buy, it's just a little trick basically. So let's create one together. I'm gonna go to my dashboard. Again, I'm here on the domain I want to create a subdomain under. Then I will go to domains and then subdomains. And then over here on the top, I can create a subdomain. Let's say that I want to show my clients that I can create a photography portfolio. I have made a design right here for a photography website. All good, but now I want to develop it and link to this website from my portfolio. That is a very good use case to use subdomains. So I'm just gonna call it photography, and then the domain will be .testingwithpixels.com. You don't need to use this option unless you want to do something custom. So all you need to do is add a name in here and then click create. And then all what Hostinger is doing is just adding a little folder. Let's take a look. If I now refresh my files, now you see I have a little folder here. There's nothing in it. Well, there's one little PHP file, but there's nothing in this file, because if we would go to this domain right now, you will see that we get this. And that is actually what this little PHP file is. But now we can install WordPress here and then replace what we see right here. So let's do that. You would think the option would be over here, but it's actually not. It's under website and then auto installer. Then you can click on WordPress again. And now you need to click on advanced, because if you do this, then it will reinstall WordPress on the main domain. So for subdomains, you have to click over here and then select the domain over here. Here we can see it. It's the first option that pops up if you just added it, and now it will install it over there. Give it a name. We're gonna make another password just for this website. Give it a strong password. You can leave all of the default settings and just click on next. So now it says install WordPress on the subdomain, not the main domain. And now if we click install, it will happen. All right, now it has installed WordPress. That took like 10 seconds. And I can now click on admin panel. And now I am logged into photography.testingwithpixels.com, which is a completely different website from the main domain right now. Let's test it if it works. I'm gonna quickly change my theme because that's the easiest way to test it. Okay, this website now looks like this, and the main domain looks like this. It's a different theme, different website. Great, that was all we needed to do. So let's see if Hostinger has added our subdomain to the website overview. And unfortunately, they haven't for some reason. I did ask Hostinger if they could add some option over here to also access your subdomains, but unfortunately you can't. So if you want to access your subdomains, you can of course just go to the URL and then type in /wp-admin to go to the login page, but maybe I forgot what the name was. So what you can do to find your subdomain is just go to the main domain, click on manage, click on WordPress overview, and then over here they have a drop down where you can find all of your subdomains. So there it is, my subdomain. I'm gonna load it in right now and then I can easily log in from here. Okay, so now you are free to do whatever you want on this subdomain. You can build the whole website, and this link already works right now. It's live, so even if you send it to a client, it works, which is great. And people will not easily find this website because they don't know the name. But if you want to make sure that it does not get indexed on Google, because this is a secret project just for you, for development, then you can go to settings, reading, and then over here you can disable search engine visibility so that this website will not be indexed by Google and so will not appear on the Google search results. Okay, so that's all. Happy developing, do whatever you want, and then at the end of this series, I will also show you how to transfer the website that you made over here to a main domain, because if you use this domain for development, then you may want to do that unless you use it as a portfolio project. Like I'm doing right here, then you can just leave the domain name for what it is and link to it from your portfolio. All right, client management features inside of Hostinger. This is one of the main reasons why I like Hostinger, because you have the complete freedom to do whatever you want. Whether you want to let your clients pay for the hosting or you pay for the hosting and you bill your clients with invoices or with maintenance packages, it's all possible within Hostinger, and you can even make money by referring a client to buy Hostinger. So those are the two ways to deal with clients. If you like to manage your clients in your account, then you just need a package that will allow you to host multiple websites, and then you don't have to use the client features. The client features are only used if they have their own account. So if you decide to host your client websites on your account, then you just go over here to websites, you add or migrate a new website, and they will just become part of your account. Yes, it is a client website, but it will not say client website because it's part of your account. So within Hostinger, a client account is only when it's their account and you link it to your account. I will show that in a minute, but I just wanted to explain the difference. This means that you don't have to pay extra for the hosting, because if it fits within your package, then why not? But you do have to pay for their domain. So you have to send them invoices anyways, and if they have big email inboxes, more than 1 gigabyte per person, then you will also need to pay for that if it's part of your account. And this is fine, but it requires you to send invoices to your client every month or every year, whatever you like. I personally changed my mindset on this. Back in the day, I was like, I don't want to be the owner of your account. You pay for it yourself because it's your responsibility. But over the years, I've realized that clients will call me anyways when there's a problem with their hosting. And then I'm not going to send them to someone else just to fix a simple issue. And so for me, it makes sense to manage my client websites in here and just make them part of my account. But that means that I have to send them invoices. You can actually make an easy profit. That's a little business trick. I mean, if your client wants to have the same amount of speed as you can offer them, they have to buy this package anyways, even if they only use one website. Because with this package, you will not get the cloud speed and performance and storage and whatever. So you can just tell your client like, hey, you can buy it yourself if you want this speed for €9, or I bill you $10 a month and then I manage it for you. Easier for you. They will probably say yes. And with every client you add to that bill, you make a profit because you only need one client to pay for your subscription. So from a business perspective, it's much smarter to add the clients to your account and then send them invoices, because those monthly packages can add up really quickly, making your business more stable and more profitable. I personally make a nice package for them. I don't just include hosting, I also include a pro license for my page builder and for my image optimizer. So I make a nice package for them and I say like, hey, for $20 a month, you don't have to buy and manage that yourself. I just do it for you. You're part of my account. You get great speed. It's actually the same price or even cheaper for you. So that's just a little business advice I wanted to give you. But at the end of the day, some clients just want to pay for their own hosting, and that's totally fine. That's their choice. But then you will have to use these features. Okay, finally, I can click on it and show you. So there are two options here. You either request access to them if they already have an account, or if you are logged into their account, because some clients will share their login with you, then you go into their account, so not your account, but their account, and then you can grant access to your own account. You can see that right here where I'm doing that. I'm granting myself access via the login of my clients. But not all clients will share their login with you, so then you have to request access. Then they will get an email which they have to accept, and then their website will also be added to your account, and then you will see them over here. You can see multiple clients right here. So that is how it works in terms of inviting. But there's one more option, and that is referrals. So this is only needed when you don't want to host your client website on your account. They say they want to pay for it themselves, but they haven't bought Hostinger yet. Then you use this feature and you say refer a friend. It will create a referral link for you, as you can see right here. And you can send that link via email and you will get a 20% commission if the client makes a payment. So you basically earn a little bit more, which is always nice. I do have to say though, this is only for when they buy hosting. Purchases of domains and emails do not qualify. So this is not gonna make you rich, but it's a nice little bonus. Okay, so in this way you can help your clients, you can create email accounts for them, you can make it part of your service to help them with them, you can charge money for it. I think it makes you more desirable for your clients if you can help them a little bit. I mean, you're learning right now about Hostinger, so the more knowledgeable you become, the more of a service you can be for your clients. So I hope that you learned something, and now I want to continue with the last part of this series, which is how to transfer the website from one domain to another. So let's talk about how to transfer a website from one domain to another. There are many different ways and situations for website migration. I want to start simple by showing you a way how to migrate a website from Hostinger to Hostinger. So for example, you have created a website on a subdomain over here and you want to transfer it to a main domain on Hostinger, which can be your own domain or it can be a client domain. That's the easiest process. And there are two ways to do that. By the way, I use the word migration and transfer. Those are the same things. Okay, before we get started with transferring, you have to know two things. One is that the login will also change. So if you have a website right here, for example, I made this website, my photography portfolio, okay? Let's say this is my website and I want to transfer that to the main domain, which is now a different website. Then the login, so the users from this website will be transferred to this new domain. So this was a little bit confusing for me in the beginning, because once I transferred the website, I was like, wait, my login doesn't work anymore, because you have probably saved the login for this domain somewhere on your computer. I hope you're using a password manager. And then I was trying to log in and I was like, shit, it doesn't work. But that is because also the login info is being transferred. So that also means that if this is a client website, right? And you and your client had their own user on this account, and you transfer your newly built subdomain website to the main domain without having a user for your client, then your client cannot log in anymore as well. So then you need to create a new user on the transferred website as well. So that's an important thing to know before we get started. Then the second thing is that transferring a website is not just the files. I know I've showed you that you have the file manager within WordPress where all of your files are. And it's not just a matter of downloading this and uploading it, because you also have a database. It's always a combination between website files and database. And if you transfer those two, then it should work. Easiest feature you can use is the copy feature. So inside of here, you have the copy website feature. And here you can simply say, hey, I want the content and the database. Here it says copy all the files and database from one subdomain to another. So we can do that. It's really easy. You can just do this and then it will transfer the website automatically. This is the most easy feature, but I don't see my client websites over here. I only see domains that are part of my hosting package, but not part of my client hosting package. So that means that we need another solution in order to transfer it from our subdomain to our client's main domain, for example. And that is a little bit more work, but we don't have a lot of options. You need to go to the website you want to transfer and you need to install a plugin. If you search over here for migration, then you will see multiple migration plugins. The one that I like to use is all-in-one WP migration. This is a great simple plugin that makes it able to download it on the old website and then upload all the files on the new website, and it will automatically replace it. You have more companies offering this, as you can see, but this one works all the time for me and it's fine. So let's test it. I'm gonna install it, activate, and there we go. We can now export this website to a file so that we can download it. It will automatically start and create a download. This is not a big website, so this shouldn't take too long. Oh, there it is already, 25 megabytes. But there is a limit to how much you can download here. So I do have an extended version of this plugin. I will put a link down below here. You can download it if you have a bigger website, because this plugin has a limitation. Okay, so now we have downloaded our beautiful photography portfolio. And now we need to go to the new website and start uploading it here. So I'm gonna go to my dashboard, gonna click on WordPress overview, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the main domain now because we need to log into WordPress. And then on the new website, you also need to make sure that you install that same plugin. By the way, if you haven't installed WordPress on that new domain that you wanna transfer it to, of course, you need to do that by going to auto installer like I showed in part 2 of this video. Okay, so then you have WordPress installed and this plugin, and now we're not gonna export, but we're gonna click on import. And now we're gonna drag file from our downloads in here. And now we will start importing. Okay, it will say it will override your website, including the database, because this plugin does also include the database. Media, plugins, themes, everything. Are you sure? Yes. We are sure. Your site has been successfully imported. Great. We're going to click on refresh and now, oh, I should update the database. That is fine. And now it should work. Okay, so now we should log in with the old login from the subdomain. And that one should now log us in. Yes. And let's see if it worked. Yes. Now testingwithpixels.com has the new website and it looks fabulous. So this was also quite easy to do. You install a plugin, you download it, install WordPress on the new one, and you upload it. That's it. I would have loved to have a tutorial like this 1 year ago or 2 years ago, but now I know, so I hope that it helped you as well. And I hope that you are still happy in a year, 2 years or 4 years from now with Hostinger. I'm gonna try to make it work as hard as possible. That's why I made this series, so that you can do that as well. And so that you can just play around with subdomains, test things, make portfolio items. That's really important for your agency. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, then leave them down below. And then I hope to see you in another video.